I was watching TV one night when something came on the news that disturbed me so much. There was a killer killing people and broadcasting it live on the internet. It was broadcasted on the dark net, and the shocking thing about it was that every time there was a live feed of someone being executed, the views counter went up and up. You couldn't see the views, but the killer was showing his analytics in one video, and from start to end of broadcast, in about under 3 minutes, he got 100,000 views. I was wondering what type of sick people in the world would want to watch some innocent person being executed live online. I came across a message board one night and got speaking to some girl in Utah, and we came up with an idea. Somehow, some way, we will try to catch the killer. We eventually built up a solid team of 5. We studied the footage, as gruesome as it was, to come up with any details. We studied what the room looked like. Were there any telltale signs of what part of the world the killer was in, or even what state if they were in the same country as me. We were all from different states, but shared the exact same goal: to bring this killer to justice. The media nicknamed him the Streaming Killer, as he streamed all his murders live on the dark web. I gathered everything I could find, and we all shared what we came up with. We hit the jackpot in one video, as the killer seemed to have missed out in something really significant in giving away his location, or else he was just teasing us, playing a game of cat and mouse, wanting us to catch him, daring us to catch him. The information was the Space Needle in Seattle. That was in the background, and by using Google Maps we traced where the video was being filmed to exactly the right street. We'd come up with a plan to tell the police, but then we decided not. We decided to knock on the door that we most expected it to be and see what happens. We would ask, is there a Jack Smith living there? Any excuse to see who answers. I knocked on the door, and we could hear footsteps from the other side. We all stood in anticipation, wondering who was going to answer. There was an elderly woman on the other side who looked like to be in shock or awe, and she stared right into my eyes. I was wondering, why was she so surprised to see me? She seemed to have ignored everyone else. Suddenly I jumped as she hugged me and said, "Oh sweetie, I thought you were killed or something. You never go more than a day without telling me where were you? Where were you?" I told her, "What?" She must be mistaking, I don't know her. After a while, when she was certain I lost my memory, she told me that she'd take me up to my room. She took me up to my room while the others waited downstairs. When I looked in, I could see the Space Needle across from the view from the window, just as it was seen in the video. Then it hit me like a Mach 10 truck. I was in an accident, but I didn't go to the hospital, as I was just after killing the last person who was in the video while my mom was away. My memory came flooding back to me. It was me who was playing cat and mouse with the others, and I realized it was me who was the Streaming Killer. The only memory that stood with me the whole time was I was trying to catch the Streaming Killer because I was obsessed with it. But the key point of what I forgot was I wasn't only trying to catch the Streaming Killer. I was playing cat and mouse, finding out how far I could go, leading them to the trap to catch me, the Streaming Killer. But now, what am I going to do? With my mother standing right in front of me, and 4 people downstairs, wondering, where is the Streaming Killer? Hello everyone, you are watching Channel 6 News live from outside the killer that was branded the streaming killer by the media for the brutal killings the killer streamed live on the dark web. The killer is a 45-year-old white Caucasian male that lived with his mother in Seattle, Washington. He was recognized none other than by himself. The story takes a turn after turn when the man whose name is Martin Scott was suffering from dissociative disorder. This has been made clear by a diary that was found in the killer's bedroom, where he describes different experiences from different people. The killer has a history of multiple personality issues, and two of the most popular ones he used during the killings were himself the killer and a shocked bystander or witnessing it all online. It is not yet made clear did he actually separate the reality from the personality, but was it just all a game to him? It is unclear. There is so much unfolding as we report this to you live. The killer is at large after killing his mother and 4 of his friends, who apparently helped him catch the killer, which ultimately was himself. But after all that, he is still at large. Anyone with any leads are urged to contact your local police department or the FBI. Tim Sampson, Channel 6 News, Seattle. Every CCTV has blind spots, and if you don't know what blind spots are, they are basically places where the CCTV cameras cannot reach visually. I work in security, and inside the building I work in, there are loads of CCTV cameras, but at the same time, there are loads of blind spots. I was working the night shift a couple of weeks ago, and as I was looking at the CCTV cameras, nothing much was happening. Then, as I got up to go to the bathroom, at the corner of the reception area, there was a ghostly figure just floating on its own. I had no idea what its intentions were, but it was so random. I never believed in such things, but this eerie figure was staring at me. I went back to the CCTV cameras to look at it again, but it was in the blind spot. Then a resident was walking past the reception area with his headphones on and without a care in the world to even notice anything. When this person got into the blind spot of the CCTV, he never appeared back into the lens of the CCTV cameras. I went out to see that he wasn't there anymore. He was pronounced missing a week later. Then, during a weekend night shift, I doubled up with another security guard. I told him what had happened, and he started laughing. He went to another place inside the building where it was a blind spot for the CCTV cameras. He started shouting and mocking the ghosts. Then he went silent, and the silence was evading. My friend wasn't at that spot anymore, apart from a silhouette of a ghostly aura. And it seems like these ghosts know all of the blind spots for the CCTV cameras. They can get away with things now. Footages and CCTV cameras have really been a pain in the backside for them. The managers just assumed that my coworker just walked off the job. There is no proof or anything sinister happening to him. I stay away from the blind spots now, because the ghosts do their best to stay in those places that the CCTV cameras cannot reach. If you are in a CCTV blind spot, then these ghostly creatures can do anything to you, and nobody will believe a thing because of no footage evidence.
Please, please, help me. I can't hear you, but I'm hoping this is streaming live. The laptop monitor here is turned off, but I managed to hopefully stream myself to let you know I am being held captive by a madman. I just saw red skulls, and after that, all I could remember was waking up here. I am in an abandoned factory outside of Maine. I don't know exactly where, but please, someone, if they know the area, help me, please, call the police. This man is going to kill me. He could be back any minute. Please, if someone is watching this, please. It's an abandoned warehouse outside Maine. Oh my God, he's coming back.
My father was a makeup artist, and he loved putting makeup on people around the face. I have always wanted to join the family business. I was allowed to go along with them and model my father's makeup and actually wear it. This was all before COVID-19. An hour before the show started, my father punched me in the face and a bruise formed around both my eyes. "Your makeup is done," my father told me. Funny thing is, my father is always putting makeup on my mother, even when she doesn't want it. Everything changed one night when I was bored and I decided to look through the attic to see could I find anything cool. I came across a really big box of old comics, and one that really caught my eye was a comic called Weird Tales from 1928. It had a weird looking octopus monster called Kulalu, who was created by a writer called H.P. Lovecraft. I went downstairs into my bedroom and couldn't stop reading. It was so exciting and so interesting. It was like the comic was written just for me. I found it so awesome. Suddenly I heard a bang, and I didn't know where it was coming from. It seemed to be coming from under my bed. I froze with fear, as the comic I was reading was spooky enough, besides an unexplained noise coming from under my bed. I was afraid to look, but knew that I had to, as I would be even more frightened if I didn't. When I looked, I fell with fright, with what looked like a giant octopus jumping out from under my bed. I screamed, then suddenly I woke up. I was grateful. It was all a nightmare. But I couldn't understand. How did I dream about something that I never read or heard about? I researched Kulalu and Weird Tales on my laptop, and the comic did exist. I wonder, how did I dream of something I can't even remember hearing of? I kept asking myself that question. I was relieved it was just a dream, but it bugged me. How did I dream of something that did exist, but I can't ever remember hearing it? Anyway, I was glad I was okay, and just tried to look on the bright side. It was all a dream. I realized it was dinner time already, and heard someone shouting at me. It was my mom calling me for dinner. She was just back from work. I sat down at the kitchen table and asked Mom, "What's for dinner?" She said to me, "I got into a mad mood today and decided to try something new. I bet you couldn't guess." I said, "No, Mum, what is it?" She said, "Octopusy." I froze in fear, thinking of the octopusy-like creature in the comic Kulalu. Then I saw a book lying on the kitchen table, and the author was H.P. Lovecraft. I looked back at my mom, and her eyes turned red.